A man broken by loss was walking home when he saw a mother dog and her newborn puppies dumped on a quiet U.S. highway. He could have kept walking, but he stopped. What followed was sacrifice, sleepless nights, and a choice that cost him everything he had. Then, one night, the dog started barking like never before. Before this story begins, take 1 second to subscribe, like, and share this video, because stories like this don't just entertain, they save lives. What you're about to hear is not fiction. It happened on an ordinary American road, on an ordinary day, and it changed 3 lives forever. Most people drive past suffering without slowing down. Not because they're evil, but because stopping feels inconvenient, risky, emotional. But every once in a while, someone stops, and everything changes. Tonight's story is about a man who had already lost everything that mattered to him. A man who believed his heart was empty. And a dog who had been thrown away like trash, along with her newborn puppies, on the side of a U.S. highway. What begins as a moment of quiet cruelty becomes a chain reaction of courage, sacrifice, and an ending no one could have predicted. There is a twist near the end that still gives me chills, because the rescue didn't go in the direction anyone expected. If you've ever wondered whether one small act of kindness can truly rewrite fate, stay with us until the very end. And if this story moves you even a little, let us know in the comments, because your voice helps these stories reach the people who need them most. The stretch of highway outside Hollister, California wasn't dangerous, just forgotten. 2 lanes of cracked asphalt, dry fields on either side, and the kind of silence that made a man feel invisible. Marcus Hale walked that road every evening after his shift at a distribution center, steel-toe boots scuffing dust he never bothered to brush off. It had been 8 months since his fiancée passed away. 8 months of empty rooms, cold dinners, and conversations that never happened. Marcus didn't listen to music anymore. The quiet matched how he felt. A dark pickup truck roared past him, swerving slightly before braking hard on the shoulder 50 yards ahead. Marcus barely looked up. People stopped there all the time. Calls, cigarettes, impatience. But then he heard it. A sharp yelp. Then another. High-pitched. Panicked. Marcus slowed. From the truck stepped a woman in sunglasses and a pressed blazer. She yanked something large from the back seat, hard enough that it stumbled. A female shepherd mix, ribs visible, collar frayed and cutting into her neck. The dog tried to scramble back, claws scraping metal. The woman shoved her away. Next came a small plastic crate. It hit the ground. The lid popped open. 2 tiny puppies tumbled out, squealing. The woman didn't look back. The truck sped off. Marcus stood frozen. Then the mother dog turned and locked eyes with him. Not barking. Not running. Waiting. Marcus told himself to keep walking. He had rent due. Groceries to ration. A life barely stitched together after loss. Whatever happened on that roadside wasn't his responsibility. That was the rule he'd lived by since grief hollowed him out. Survive first, feel later. He took 3 steps. Behind him came a sound that didn't belong on any highway. A long, trembling whine. Not loud. Not frantic. Just broken. Marcus stopped. When he turned back, the mother dog was sitting now, her body curved protectively around the puppies. One paw rested over them like a shield. Her ears were flat, tail still, but her eyes never left him. They weren't wild or aggressive. They were pleading. Marcus exhaled hard, rubbing his face with both hands. His fiancée, Rachel, had always said the same thing whenever he hesitated to help someone. If you noticed it, it's yours now. He walked back slowly and crouched several feet away. The dog growled low, not at him, but at the world. Marcus kept his palms open, his voice calm. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." The puppies shivered, noses pink, barely steady on their legs. Without thinking too long, before fear could talk him out of it, Marcus peeled off his hoodie, wrapped the puppies gently, and lifted them. The dog stood instantly. Then, after 1/10 second, she followed. The walk back to Marcus's small rental house felt longer than usual. Every few steps, he glanced down at the bundle in his arms. The puppies were silent now, pressed together for warmth. Behind him, the mother dog padded close, so close her nose almost touched his calf. If he slowed, she slowed. If he stopped, she froze. She didn't trust him, but she was choosing him. Inside the house, the air smelled like dust and stale coffee. Marcus kicked the door shut with his heel and lowered himself to the floor, carefully unfolding the hoodie. The puppies wriggled weakly, squeaking as they found each other again. The dog hovered, muscles tight, eyes tracking his hands. "You're safe," Marcus murmured, though he wasn't sure who he was convincing. He grabbed an old bowl, filled it with water, then shredded the last of a rotisserie chicken from the fridge. When he slid the bowl across the floor, the dog hesitated, then lunged forward, eating like she hadn't in days. Only after she finished did she lie down, allowing the puppies to nurse. Marcus sat cross-legged nearby, watching. Her fur was dull and matted. The skin beneath her collar was raw. She flinched at every sound, the refrigerator hum, the creak of the floor. But when Marcus gently reached out and brushed her head, she didn't snap. She sighed. And for the first time since Rachel died, the house didn't feel empty, it felt alive. Marcus didn't sleep much that night. Every small sound pulled him awake, the shuffle of paws, a soft whimper, the creak of the house settling. Just before sunrise, a thin, frantic squeal cut through the quiet. He was on his feet instantly. One of the puppies lay apart from the other, barely moving. Its tiny chest rose too fast, too shallow. When Marcus lifted it, heat burned through his palm. "Hey, hey, stay with me." The mother dog whined sharply, licking the pup's face over and over, pacing in tight circles like she could will it better. Marcus grabbed his phone with shaking hands and searched for the nearest emergency vet. The price didn't show, but he already knew it wouldn't matter. At the clinic, a tired-looking veterinarian examined the puppy and went still. "Severe infection," he said. "Hours matter. Treatment isn't cheap." Marcus thought of his bank balance, thought of rent, thought of the last voicemail Rachel had left him. "Be kind, even when it hurts." "Do it," Marcus said. "All of it." He handed over his card without looking. When he returned home with the tiny bundle wrapped in a towel, the mother dog sniffed it desperately, then pressed her body around both puppies like armor. Marcus sat beside them on the floor, exhausted, broke, and terrified. He didn't know it yet, but that decision would save more than just a puppy. The next few days blurred together. Marcus lived by alarms, every 4 hours, day and night. Antibiotics. Fluids. Careful measurements scribbled on scrap paper. The sick puppy barely cried, barely moved, but the mother dog never left its side. On the second night, Marcus dozed on the floor. He woke to the faintest sound, a tiny breath that wasn't there before. The puppy's eyes cracked open. "Hey, there you are," Marcus whispered. By day 4, the puppy tried to stand. It failed immediately, tumbling sideways. Its sibling, loud, healthy, impatient, pounced on it clumsily, licking its face as if demanding it get up faster. Marcus laughed. It startled him how unfamiliar that sound felt. The mother dog watched him closely now. When he reached for the puppies, she allowed it. When he spoke, her ears tilted toward him. One evening, without planning to, Marcus said, "All right, you need names." He looked at the mother first. Steady, watchful, unbreakable. "Luna," he said softly. The sick puppy, stubborn and defiant, became Miles, because every breath felt like distance earned. The louder one earned echo, for obvious reasons. When Marcus spoke the names again, Luna lifted her head and met his eyes. Something in her gaze shifted. They weren't just staying the night anymore. The complaints started a week later. Echo found her voice first, high-pitched and relentless whenever Marcus left the room. Luna barked only once, sharp and deep, as if correcting her. But it was enough. At 2:17 a.m., someone pounded on Marcus's door. A man from the neighboring duplex stood there in sweatpants and fury. "You better get rid of those dogs," he snapped. "Animal control's my next call." Marcus apologized. Promised training. Promised quiet. He meant it. That night, he slept on the living room floor. Every time Echo stirred, Marcus was there. Luna learned quickly. No barking, only low warning sounds. By the end of the week, the house was silent again. Too silent. One evening, Marcus noticed Luna pacing the hallway. Not anxious, focused. She paused at the far wall near an old outlet, sniffing, ears forward. "Luna!" Marcus called. She didn't move. The light above flickered once. Twice. Marcus frowned and unplugged the lamp. The outlet was warm. Too warm. "I'll check it tomorrow," he muttered, exhausted. Luna lay down, but she didn't sleep. Her eyes stayed fixed on that wall long after the house went dark. Marcus would later realize something chilling. Luna had already sensed the danger, and she was trying to warn him, long before the fire ever started. Marcus was deep asleep when Luna exploded into motion. Her bark wasn't loud, it was desperate, relentless. She slammed her body against the bedroom door, claws scraping wood again and again. Echo and Miles shrieked from the living room, panic threading their tiny voices. Marcus jolted upright. Smoke. Thick, bitter, choking. He barely had time to open the door before Luna bolted past him, racing down the hallway. Marcus followed, coughing as gray haze rolled along the ceiling like a living thing. The source was the far wall. Behind the old bookshelf, orange light flickered violently. Flames had already chewed through the drywall, licking upward, hungry. The heat hit Marcus like a punch. The puppies were trapped on the other side of the room. Without hesitation, Luna charged through the smoke, planting herself in front of them, her body between fire and pups. She didn't bark. She stood. Marcus grabbed the fire extinguisher from the kitchen, ripped the pin free, and emptied it in seconds. White foam swallowed the flames, hissed, then failed. Fire pushed back through. He squeezed until the canister went dead. Finally, the fire collapsed inward, coughing smoke and embers. Marcus dropped to his knees, lungs burning. Luna rushed to him, whining, pressing her head into his chest. If she hadn't woken him, he wouldn't have woken at all. Dawn found Marcus sitting on the front steps, wrapped in a borrowed blanket, coughing smoke from his lungs. Luna lay pressed against his side. Echo and Miles trembled in his arms, soot smudged across their noses. The house behind them stood, but barely. Blackened walls. Melted wiring. The smell of disaster hanging heavy in the air. The fire inspector arrived mid-morning. "Another 10 minutes," he said grimly, tapping the scorched wall. "You'd have been gone." Marcus nodded, numb. The repairs cost more than he could afford. Rewiring. Drywall. Safety upgrades the house should have had decades ago. Marcus borrowed from co-workers, skipped meals, worked extra shifts. Every dollar went into making the house safe. The dogs never missed one. As weeks passed, Miles grew stronger. Echo doubled in size. Luna's coat returned to a glossy shine, her eyes calm and alert. She followed Marcus everywhere now. Kitchen, porch, even the bathroom. One afternoon, while walking them through the neighborhood, a woman stopped and stared. "That dog saved your life," she said quietly. Marcus looked down at Luna, who glanced back at him as if to say, "Of course I did." He realized then, the rescue had gone both ways. And fate wasn't finished with them yet. 3 weeks after the fire, Marcus came home to an unfamiliar car parked across the street. A white sedan. Engine off. Someone waiting. Luna stiffened the moment they stepped onto the sidewalk. Her ears pinned back, low growl vibrating in her chest. Not fear, but recognition. A woman stepped out. Sunglasses. Perfect hair. The same cold posture Marcus had seen on the highway. "I've been looking for my dog," she said flatly, eyes locking on Luna. "She was stolen." Marcus felt his stomach drop. Luna moved in front of Echo and Miles instantly. "You dumped her," Marcus said, voice steady but hard. "On the side of the road." The woman scoffed. "I was relocating her. Temporary situation." Marcus laughed once, short, sharp. "Animal control already has the report. Vet records too. And witnesses." Her face tightened. Luna growled louder now, teeth just visible. The woman took a step back. "This dog saved my life," Marcus said. "And my house. You're not touching her." A long silence hung between them. Finally, the woman muttered something under her breath, turned, and drove off without another word. Marcus knelt, gripping Luna's face gently. She licked his chin once, slow and deliberate. The past had tried to reclaim her. It failed. And that wasn't the last surprise fate had waiting. 2 months later, Marcus received a letter that didn't make sense at first. A law firm. Official seal. His name typed cleanly across the envelope. Inside was a notice. Rachel's estate had finally cleared probate. Marcus sat down hard. He hadn't expected anything. There was barely enough back then for funeral costs. But buried in the paperwork was something else. A wrongful termination settlement Rachel had filed before her accident, one Marcus never knew existed. The amount made his hands shake. It was enough to erase debt. Fix the house properly. Start again. But the real twist came days later, when Marcus returned to the highway where everything began, to leave flowers for Rachel. Near the shoulder, he saw a small wooden sign. "No dumping. Area under surveillance." Below it, a photo. Luna. Someone had shared her rescue. Her fire alert. Her stand against the flames. The story had spread. Neighbors, firefighters, strangers. Luna wasn't abandoned anymore. She was known. Marcus smiled, kneeling as Luna pressed into him, Echo and Miles wrestling at his feet. He hadn't just saved a dog. He'd followed one, and found his way back to life. If you've made it this far, thank you, for listening, for caring, and for believing that compassion still matters. Marcus thought he was done with life. Luna thought the world had given up on her. Echo and Miles never had a chance to choose. Yet on one forgotten road in America, their paths crossed, and everything changed. This story isn't just about a rescue. It's about timing. About listening when your heart tells you to stop walking. About the truth we often forget. Sometimes the ones we save are the ones who save us back. If Luna hadn't barked, Marcus wouldn't be here. If Marcus hadn't stopped, none of them would be. That's how fragile and powerful kindness really is. Right now, somewhere near you, there's an animal waiting. Watching. Hoping someone notices. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is you. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share it. Your support helps these real-life rescues reach people who might be one decision away from changing everything. And tell us in the comments, would you have stopped? Until the next story, stay kind, stay aware, and never underestimate the life-changing power of compassion.